So far we have looked at compounds with only one functional group. From this slide onwards, we are going to look at molecules with more functional groups. Now this is a question from a past year paper. It contains two functional groups, ketone and alkene. So we should name it based on ketone by using ketone as the parent name or alkene as the parent name. It depends on the functional group priority. Now this will be the functional group priority in naming organic compounds. Carboxylic acid always have the highest functional group priority. So as long as you see COOH in a molecule, the name of that compound will end with carboxylic acid. Nitro group has the lowest priority. So if you have a compound, for example, benzene bonded to COOH and then another nitro group, so the priority will be given to carboxylic acid because it has the highest priority in naming. So the name to this compound will be called 3-nitrobenzoic acid. So that is how we use this functional group priority. Now do not worry about this priority so much because in your paper 4, they rarely give very complicated molecule. They rarely ask you to name very complicated molecules. So I'll recommend you to only remember carboxylic acid as the one with the highest priority. As long as you see COOH in the molecule, you know that the name will end with OIC acid. I realize that they really love to give you a molecule which contains carboxylic acid with another substituent group. So the name will always end with OIC acid. Then we have the carbonyl group that lies in the middle of the priority, followed by alcohol, and then the hydrocarbon. The last two will always be halogenyl alkane and nitro. So let's look at a few molecules and learn how to use this functional group priority in naming. Okay, so we go back to this compound that we saw just now. It has two functional groups, ketone and also alkene. Now alkene is here in the group priority, lower than ketone. So we know that the name of this molecule will end with ONE, which is the name of ketone. And since it is given the priority, the numbering should also follow the priority. So the carbon in the ketone functional group will be given smaller number. So this is carbon number 2 because the left hand side we have carbon number 1. So this is carbon number 3, number 4, and number 5. So this is a pentan 2-on. And then we have alkene between carbon 3 and 4. So the name to this molecule will be called pent 3-ene 2-on. So again, ketone has the higher priority in naming. So between ketone and alkene, the name of the compound should end with the name of the ketone. So now you have these 6 compounds to practice the naming of compounds with more functional groups. Pause your video to name the compounds and then come back and check your answers. Row number 1 on the left, you have 2-chloromethylbenzene. Right, remember halogenyl alkane? The halogen has lower priority than the alkane. Okay, so alkyl group is considered an alkane. So this is called 2-chloromethylbenzene. Now remember the 8 compounds that I gave you from the very beginning, where I said that they will actually act as the base names for your compounds. So that means most of the time when you see them in the molecule, the name of the molecules will always end with those functional groups. So this is called 2-chloromethylbenzene. Here are phenol, and there are 3 bromine. okay, bonded to this phenol at 2, 4, 6 positions. So this is called 2, 4, 6 tribromophenol. Right hand side, now alcohol has higher priority than the alkyl group. So this is called 2-methylphenol. Second row, left hand side, 4-chloromethylbenzene. Now the one in the middle is called a chloromethylbenzene without the numbering. Now when you have numbering in front of the chloro, it is telling people that okay, these chlorine are bonded to the benzene carbons. Okay. When there's no numbering, then we know that the chlorine is bonded to the methyl side group and not bonded to the carbon in the benzene. Take note on these three, okay, the difference in their namings, the one with number and without the number. Right, the last one, we have 2-nitrophenol. Pause the video for the next practice. After you have done naming, come back and check your answers. Row number 1, left hand side, 2,4,6 trinitrophenol. You can make use of the table for the functional group priority naming if you cannot remember how to name them. This one in the middle, 2-COOH functional group bonded together. So this is ethane dioic acid. On the right hand side, we have another carboxylic acid, but this time there's a chlorine. So this is called 2-chloroethanoic acid or just chloroethanoic acid because ethanoic acid has only 2 carbon and the COOH functional group carbon cannot be bonded to any other substituent groups. So if you just put chloroethanoic acid as the name, it is understandable that the chlorine is always bonded to the second carbon. That's why we can omit the number 2. Second row, on the left, we have 2,4,6 tribromophenylamine. The phenylamine has higher priority compared to all the halogens. So it's called 2,4,6 tribromophenylamine. This one in the middle has many functional groups. Alcohol has the highest priority, so you see the name ends with phenol. And the other 3 substituent groups are named based on the alphabetical order and the positions on the benzene. The last one is an amino acid because of the COOH and NH2 functional groups. So you see, in this molecule, you have COOH and another functional group. COOH is the one with highest priority. So side group NH2 is called amino. This is carbon number 1, this is carbon number 2, this is carbon number 3. It is a propanoic acid with carbon number 2 bonded to an amine group. So this is called 2-aminopropanoic acid. Right, the last practice before you can start answering the past year questions. So you know what to do, pause your video, name the compounds. Later, please come back and check your answers. Row number 1, left hand side, all halogens, they have the same priority, so just name them based on alphabetical order. So it should be a dash here. So B comes before C. So 1-bromo, 2,3-dichlorobenzene is the name of this compound. Now the one on the right hand side is actually beyond the syllabus. You only be asked to name compounds with maximum 6 carbon atoms. Okay, this has 18. So I don't expect you to know how to name the 18 unless you do some research on the prefix. Okay, 18 carbon alkene is called octadecane. So 18 carbon carboxylic acid is called octadecanoic acid. There's an alkene group here. Let's number the carbon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So alkene functional group is between carbon 9 and 10. That's why this is called octadecanoic acid. Okay, let's look at row number 2, left-hand side. In the 8 compounds, they have only one functional group. There was a phenylethanol. So this time we have a 3-carbon ketone group here, so it's called propanol, and this is phenylpropanol. Row number 2 in the middle, we have an amino acid. So 2-carbon amino acid. COOH, highest priority in naming. So this will end with the name of carboxylic acid. 2-carbon ethanoic acid. Carbon number 2 is bonded to an amine group, so 2-amino-ethanoic acid. Or you can omit the number 2 because there are only 2 carbon. All the subsequent groups cannot be bonded to the first carbon for COOH. So without the number 2, okay, we will understand that the amino side group is actually bonded to carbon number 2. The last one, we have dichloroethanoic acid. So again, can be with the numbers and without the numbers because there are only 2 carbon and 2 chlorines cannot be bonded to the COOH carbon. Right, that will be all for the basic namings for all these organic molecules. So again, I've given you a few past year practices on the naming. So from the practices and the functional group priority table, I believe that you are able to name all these compounds. I've given you the sources of these questions, so please check your answers from the answer scheme, okay, before you submit your assignments.